Alright, so you're wandering through the internet. Entertainment levels are low. You both are about to die of boredom. What do you want to do?
I look for a cool new podcast.
Yeah, and I assist. Alright, give me an investigation check. Oh yeah, and roll with advantage.
Last time, our heroes mounted a valiant rescue attempt for King Hikatan. Upon awakening him, he seemed quite upset. Not only that, but the ship was attacked by the Kraken. Will our heroes be able to escape the Kraken? Will they be able to mount a successful attack against Imrith? Keep listening to find out.
You see tendrils come up from the water. They're big, thick, meaty tendrils, and they snap the mast of the ship, and it goes clambering down. One of the tendrils goes and grabs King Hikatan by the forearm and pulls him back, and another one grabs and pulls him back, and a tendril shoots up in the center where the mast is, and it busts the ship, and it starts to break. As the ship is breaking, you see down below this giant maw in the ripples of water that are flowing out into the ship. You see a giant maw of a kraken bearing down on the ship.
I spit take like a motherfucker.
You spit take?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
I think
you.
we should fight the Kraken.
You spit take.
On my action, I cast Wall of Fire in a ring.
Okay. You spit take, and when you do, the conch activates, and you teleport all of your friends along with King Hikatan, and your ship is still circling. You guys appear in what Kinian, Minette, and Tin recognize as the receiving room of Maelstrom. In this room, there is a cold, large pond sitting next to a spiral staircase that wraps and goes upward into the next level. You are standing on top of this golden sigil that's glowing in the ground, and it's kind of dark. There's these blue bioluminescent lights that are on the walls here and there, and you see a couple statues going down one side and then another, down two different corridors. King Hikatan steps in front of you all, and he starts walking towards the stairway, and he says,
"Follow me. I must attend to my brother."
And he starts up the stairwell. Yeah. You guys chasing after?
Yes.
Okay.
I disappeared.
You disappear? Where do you go?
Get my alchemy job. I'm back on the ship.
Okay. All right. So we will come back to that in a second. So you guys are busy chasing after King Hikatan. Too busy to notice that Kinian has disappeared. What you notice is when you're running to follow, because his walking strides are a run
Quick
for
fast.
you guys. Yes. You notice that this is a very accommodating place. The spiral staircase, the intersection of the spiral staircase is cut for medium-sized creatures, and the outer space is cut for giants. So the steps are different and much longer and taller. You reach the next level and you enter into this auditorium. Think of like an old jazz speakeasy type bar where you've got all these tables and like little lamps on each table, and it's a tiered thing, and then there's a stage off towards the back where people would be and performing and stuff. There's in front of the stage is a large fountain, and it's spewing water up into the air, and King Hikatan takes a hard right from the stairs and heads directly down this very beautiful corridor. It's got relief cuts of giants and giant achievements all along the walls. Storm giants and whales and things like that are all cut into these walls and into these pillars. And you come to these very large wooden doors that look almost like reclaimed wood from shipwrecks. And it also has relief cut. The king slams these doors open. Something that Minette and Tin notice is that there's no guards along this hallway like there was last time. And you also notice nobody's performing in the auditorium
Yet.
And you have yet to see giants. The doors slam open. You see there a young storm giantess sitting on top of a hovering throne. This throne is made out of these bones. It looks like dragon bones. And she's got her head in her hands and is leaning against one of these chair arms. And it looks like a great weight is on her shoulders. When the doors slam and hit the walls, you see her head snap up, and she says, "Father! Oh, it is so very nice to see you once more." She runs up and gives him just this very large hug. It lasts for as long as it needs to.
Now, this whole place is underwater.
Yes.
Kyo is, as a ritual, casting water breathing.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not certain you really know.
Yeah,
underwater.
I don't know that you know that yet.
Okay, so there's no windows or anything?
Not yet.
Yeah, there's nothing to...
Yeah, you guys
Nothing
have...
to indicate. Okay.
Yeah, you guys have not passed any windows yet.
Never mind.
Just in that one hall.
Yeah.
The performance hall, right?
Yep, just the performance hall.
Jeez, Q. Quit metagaming.
You see this reunion between father and daughter. They haven't seen each other for a very, very long time. And she releases the embrace and kind of quick straightens her clothes and clears her throat and becomes proper. Almost like she forgot that she's nobility and she needs to be strong for her people. There's none of her people around. She clears her throat and she says, "I'm afraid I have grave news, Father. Your daughters, Myrna and Nim, have betrayed our family. Through a recent investigation, I have uncovered that they have conspired with Imrith to kill Queen Neri and capture you. Your eldest daughter has been detained and is being questioned as we speak. After your disappearance, the giant lords have been causing havoc on the mainland, and Duke Zolto has relit the fires of Ironslag inside Mount Hammerhast. From what we have gathered, Myrna believes that Enem the Allfather has tasked her and Imrith to find and unite the pieces of six once more. Nim has confessed that the rationale of the murder, and the kidnapping of you was to create a power struggle between the giant lords and hopefully turn some of these pieces up. As she nods towards you guys and says, because they're lost to history. She sweeps her hand towards you guys as well and says, these adventurers have ousted Imrith as a dragon in disguise. I have learned much about Imrith's motives and her true identity through your pool of scrying. It is actually a very useful tool, Father. I see why you kept it. She is the doom of the desert and the dragon of statues. Everybody who's proficient in history, please give me a history check, please.
25.
25. You are very aware of who the doom of the desert and the dragon of statues is. This is a ancient blue dragon, like you saw. And you know her to be notorious for harassing the area around the ancient dwarven city, Ascorn. It is now a desert It was once a dwarven harbor until the city fell and the area dried up due to a magical drought. She has taken up refuge in a amphitheater that was once the dwarven amphitheater, Ascourt. And you know the basics from this legend. You know that she's immune to lightning. You know the general concept around the
enough about dragons.
Yeah. So you understand that it's her lair. So she will probably be in her. She'll have a home turf advantage and stuff like that. As this is all clicking in your mind and you're remembering this information, she continues on and she says, "I have gathered Nimir, Olektu, Shaldor, and Vasasha from your elite guard to join us on our hunt. I believe we should strike soon. I believe we need to leave now." She looks towards you guys again and says, "You brave adventurers, will you join with us in this hunt? I assume this scourge has affected you as well, else why would you be here? What say you?"
Let's do it.
We would be honored to help you, the noble race of dragons.
Yes.
Kinian, you teleport back to the ship.
I run to the deck immediately and to hang over the edge to see the Kraken.
The Kraken is pulling, its tentacles are wrapped around the ship and is crushing down it's like twigs and it's big tendrils, and it's pulling it down into its maw and smashing it through all these teeth and things, pulling it down into the depths. As it's starting to sink, you see one of the many sickly yellow and red eyes turn up towards you, and the pupil starts to focus. You're looking over, and the eye zooms in on you and focuses on you, and you hear over your shoulder, you hear Staravash saying, "What the fuck is that?" And you hear the loosing of two ballistas as they're just firing these massive harpoons into the Kraken. You need to make a saving throw. I believe it's a con save. Yes, please make a con saving throw.
14.
14. That is not going to do it. A ringing begins in the center of your mind and will not stop. That ringing moves out from the center towards the frontal lobe and into your ears and then jaw, and you can feel it coming through your nose. It's echoing, it's vibrating through your skull now. And you take 27 psychic damage.
Should have gotten that tinnitus looked at.
Yeah. What would you like to do?
Stumble back from the edge of the ship.
Yep. And you notice, you feel it. You feel from your ears and from your nose is this warm, wet blood trickling out from those orifices.
I run to down under the deck to grab my alchemy jug.
Okay.
And I blow it back into the conch.
Okay.
I don't even say anything to anyone.
Yep. Okay. You reappear and you see this very same room that you saw not more than a week or so earlier.
I walk into the giant room.
Yep.
And I check the chest to see if the cloak's there. Hopefully.
It is not.
I look down, sad, and I trot up the stairs.
Okay.
To go find the crab.
Okay. And when you enter that area where the crab is, you hear bits and pieces of this monologue, and you hear about you hear the doom of the desert and the dragon of statues, and it doesn't faze you.
I get distracted by the fountain,
Okay.
Naturally.
and I dip the conch into the fountain
Yep.
and take a drink.
Excellent.
What is it?
It's just water. Nice, clean water.
I spit take the water,
This isn't alcohol.
and I use the alchemy jug to fill my mug.
Okay.
And I run up the balcony to see if the crab's up there.
It is. And there's paddles. There's these wide, flat paddles that are covered in a spongy material on both sides. And there is this crab in front of you with these coral tubes that have grown off of it. And these bioluminescent, like, blue and green sections of the crab that you remember Nim hitting, one of the giantess hitting to tickle the crab to make the noise.
I pat it on
Okay.
its head,
Okay.
and I start playing.
Performance check with disadvantage, please.
Is a 0 good?
So,
So,
we hear sounds of a crab being tortured.
yeah. You hear some very bad, like, noises coming from the auditorium, just as Sarissa is asking you all, what say you? And as you're saying yes, Sarissa, she like moves her head to try and look down the corridor, like out and around her father, and look into the amphitheater or the auditorium, and can't quite see what's making that noise. And she says, hold on for a moment," and pushes past her father and gently picks her way around you guys as she moves down the corridor, and she steps into the auditorium, and she says,
I'm going to sneak after her at a stealth of 24.
"Oh yeah, nice." And she says, excuse me, Kinian, was it? What are you doing? Stop playing. Stop.
I'm making beautiful music.
I'd prefer you to stop, please.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a very precious crab to our family.
I put the little tongs down, like
Yep.
the sponges down.
But you put them like right on top of a spot that would purposely play, so it tickles the crab, and the crab like lets out like a high pitch and a low pitch noise at the same time, and it's particularly deafening. And she walks over, like just kind of pushing her hands into her ears, and she bumps the paddles off of the ticklish spot, and she says, "That's quite enough."
I want to reach for her pinky like a little kid.
Yeah, oh yeah. She puts out her pinky for you to grab so that she can escort you back.
I wink at Minette as soon as I see him.
Minette is very unsure what you're winking about.
Diplomacy.
Yeah. When you guys see Kinian, he has large streams of blood running from his nose and from his ears, and you can actually start to see the trickle of like the formation of blood around the edges of his eyes.
You really shouldn't have been playing so loud.
Yeah.
You look terrible.
I saw the Kraken eat the boat.
What the boop? 10 hit points.
Our vote?
10 hit points.
You heal him for 10 hit points? Nice.
What about supper?
He's fine. Jump, jump, jump. Glug, glug, glug.
Sarissa says, "Well, now that we've been reunited, shall we set out plans for our attack? There is only going to be you 5 and our 6. I'm coming along on the hunt." You see King Hikatan start to like raise a finger and start to say otherwise, and she shuts him down. She says, "I am coming on this hunt. Now, I have plans." Yeah, you're still holding her pinky. I have plans. Please follow me into my study. And she starts walking off towards the back of this large throne room, which is where you guys are in. You walk in between this large throne of the dragon bones and another smaller throne, and it goes directly back down a corridor towards the treasury, the royal treasury that you guys received gifts from her before, and takes a hard left, going into one of these smaller side chambers. And in this chamber is 4 giant clams, and they are opened up, and their tongues are like moved in such a way that would be comfortable for giants to lounge in. And there is like a
Giants are gross.
Giants are gross. Yes, there is like this bowl of dried kelp sitting next to one of the seats as like a snack. And there is this very large desk made out of stone. And it has in front of it on the wall a large plan of an amphitheater.
I'd like to climb up onto one of the seats, try and grab some of the kelp, and try to feed it to the seat.
Okay. You do as such, and the seat does not react. So she lays forth a map for you guys. And she says, though I do not know the actual layout of this amphitheater, I do know the positioning of the area. And I believe that if we approach from the north, we will be coming in head on into this amphitheater. The north is also where the main city was located. And I assume that we are not traveling together. I'm very impressed that you guys were able to find my father so quickly. I mean, you can travel with us if you like, but it will be by whale, then by rock.
By rock?
Yes.
I don't know. I saw some goblins traveling by rock once. It didn't turn out too well.
For us, it works very nicely.
So Kyo's got this picture of them tying themselves to boulders and being launched by catapults. Just like those.
Yep. She says, now, we will have 6 giants.
Is that your shirt safe?
What?
Traveling by rock.
Yes.
Guess I could come with you.
Yeah. If you like. Yes. We will travel underwater for a few leagues, and from there we will surface near a small set of islands. That is where our rocks are stationed, and then we will fly to Ascor. So we will have 6 giants and 5 of you. As giants, it will be very difficult for us to sneak into this amphitheater. So a frontal assault will probably be required. Here's.
We could go on ahead and
You would serve as a remarkable distraction from us small folk.
Mm-hmm.
That is genius.
Her breath hurts.
She starts to cover her mouth.
The dragon!
Oh. She's. Okay.
I think he's been drinking too much. It's turned him dumber than
She says, yes, I assume that dragon's breath will hurt you very much. We are fortunate to be immune to such attacks. So, there is that to consider. I love the idea of us being some form of distraction, but we have to have some goal. From my understanding, from history, this amphitheater is just the top part. I would think that she has burrowed underneath the amphitheater, creating her actual den. No dragon leaves their gold out in the open. Am I right, little one?
I have some experience with burrowing.
She says,
Keep mine
Now-
in the chest.
We must be careful because I have heard that the dragon of statues can create statues that come to life. So we must be aware. Don't blink. Is there anything that you
Great
all...
time for a robe of lives.
Yeah. Is there anything you all would like to do before we assault? I would like to start traveling in the morning. It is quite late.
My ears will stop bleeding by the morning, I hope.
I hope so too. Maybe your friend here can help you with that. As
I start pulling out my kit of bandages,
oh, okay, helping Kitty out.
I just sit on the floor.
and I'm gonna.
Aw, nice.
Have you ever watched?
You're gonna make me into a mummy, aren't you?
No, like the Scrooge, the musical version of the Christmas Carol, where they all sing in that, and you know how Bob Marley has the
with the tooth.
wrap.
Yep.
He's got like the wrap around his head, like the
Yep.
bandage goes under his jaw and then up over the top. I start doing that on.
I just sit there and take it and keep drinking.
I start to cast Mend and then realize that that's not going to help Kim. And then cast Cure Wounds.
Nice.
So far.
King Hikatan. King Hikatan says,
9?
Excuse me, Sarissa. Have you given away my personal effects? Are they still in the treasury?
and she says, no, I would never do that. He says,
Well, I will be right back.
and he leaves the room for a moment and comes back with a fistful of items. There are 6 items, in fact. 5 of them are potion bottles. The last item is a amulet. He hands a potion to each one of you, and he says,
This is a potion of giant size.
Looks regular sized to me.
he says,
I have 5 potions of giant size, which will turn you into our size for 24 hours. And I also have an amulet recovered from the wreckage of a ship. It is an amulet of some form of dragon magic.
I identify it.
yeah,
It is the Claw of the Worm rune, right?
yes.
Your identify is getting good. You don't even have to wait for the DM on that.
Yeah. It's almost like he knew.
So good. Okay. This dragon's claw has been covered with a coat of molten silver, which has been inscribed, upon which has been inscribed the worm, dragon, rune. The claw has the following properties. As an action, you can point the claw at a dragon within 30 feet of you. The dragon must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw, or gain vulnerability to all damage types until the end of your next turn. This property can be used 3 times, regains all expended uses the next on. Worm Shield. While the claw is displayed on your person, you have resistance to the damage caused by any dragon's breath weapon.
Wow.
Worm Ward. You can transfer the claw's magic to a place by tracing the worm rune on the ground with your finger. The point where you trace it becomes the center of a spherical area of magic that has a 100-foot radius and is fixed to the place. Transfer takes 8 hours of work that requires the claw to be within 5 feet of you. At the end, the claw is destroyed and the area gains the following property. Any dragon within the sphere has disadvantage on saving throws and can have a fly speed no higher than 10 feet. So that's anchored to the place we dropped, aka our airship.
Yeah, that I think that would be it.
You want a sphere of anti-dragon around your airship?
It only lasts for so long, though. I believe it's got like a day or 2 or something like that on there.
No.
No.
The area would be warded.
The magical item
it's always
destroyed.
warded. Oh, that's right. It's the 8 hours to transfer it. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll worry about transferring the magic to the ship later.
Okay.
For now, I think it would be good to maybe give that to the healer.
I mean, take it.
It'd be good for you to have resistance to the damage so that you can heal people.
Is it a necklace? It just says claw. It's a rune. It's not a necklace.
It's a claw.
Well, it's an amulet or a medallion. It's a claw on a twine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tin, are you taking it?
Yeah, I'll take it.
After handing these potions out and such, King Hikatan says,
I don't know if this is necessarily going to change our stratagem, but these most certainly will come into handy when we face that evil worm. Shall we rest? We have small-sized rooms, if you'd like to use them. I'm afraid that one of you shall have to sleep in a very large bed or on the floor, as we only have...
It's okay, I'll take a very large room. It's fine. Use my wand of flying to get in out of bed.
Your broom.
Or sorry, yeah, my broom. I always say that.
what do you guys want to do? You have a couple options. You can travel with them or travel with your ship.
Kyo's going to travel with them because he wants to see how...
Sure, you want to learn it.
One can
travel by rock.
Travel by rock without getting smushed.
Okay.
He figures that, worst case, he can, misty step away from the rock and then use his broom to land safely.
Yep.
But
I have no preference.
I want to protect the princess.
that, and since my character's based off Pinocchio, riding in the mouth of a whale would check off something off the list.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Fuck.
Get out.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just put the giants then.
We all find out that later that the real bad guy is just a guy that kills kids. That's it. That's all we find out.
No big deal.
He enslaves them and turns them into animals. It's like forced polymorph.
Yeah.
I should have taken polymorph.
Yeah.
So I could have
In hindsight.
hindsight, yeah.
All right.
And just turn into a burrow at some point.
So I'm gonna want to expect one of these clams to look, because I'm not real bright and I'm looking for a pearl. So I'm trying to move the muscle around, trying to find pearl.
Okay. When you go to lift this muscly tongue thing up, and you're budging it around, it starts to move of its own accord. It folds over and tries to fold on top of you. When it does, though, the Queen Sarissa walks up and pushes the muscle up off of you as it's overcoming your strength. She taps on the...
He's got just as much strength as she does.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're budging it out of the way, and
stop that.
yeah, stop it.
that.
Just stop. And Queen Sarissa, she walks up and she taps the shell of the beast, and she says, "Now," she says, "Tis, you be a good clam, you." And it straightens up and opens a little bit wider than it did before, and it straightens out into the proper furniture it's supposed to be.
And I shoot up and I'm wide-eyed now.
Yeah.
And well sauced with a big bandage on my head.
Yeah.
And I skip off to the throne room, and now I'm underneath the throne. How is this doing this?
She explains to you that it is, from my understanding, dwarven magic that keeps the throne afloat.
Do you hear this ringing?
Nope. What ringing?
I hear ringing.
Nope. Hikatan walks up, places his hand on Queen Sarissa's shoulder, and says,
My queen, I would like to speak with you in private, please.
and she nods, and she turns towards you, Kinian, and says, "If you wouldn't mind, we'll be meeting with my father and then turning in for tonight. Please enjoy our accommodations and let one of the guards near your room know if you need anything." And she turns and both storm giants walk off.
I take a really close look at the throne.
Okay.
Do I see any buttons? 23.
No buttons. You see a throne. I mean, it is a magical throne. It looks to be very ancient magic.
I climb into the throne.
You climb into the throne. You are sitting on top of a throne. A floating throne.
I like this.
But it's large, so I mean you're real tiny in the middle of the seat.
I'm gonna try to sleep on it.
You're gonna sleep on it? Oh geez. I'm gonna just turn in or
Kyo is gonna seem strangely anxious to go to bed.
okay.
So, have we... Did you give any sort of direction to our ship while you were back there? Maybe have them start heading that direction?
Is this you AJ telling Dan, or is this Minette?
This is
like
Minette.
smacking Kinian?
Kinian, is the ship on its way?
I don't know. I saw a kraken. I didn't talk to anyone. Starabash yelled at me. No, he yelled at it. They were shooting harpoons.
Can you go tell the ship where we're going to be heading so that they can start on their way? Their ways.
Kyo has a bright idea. He takes that ring that he hasn't been wearing, the one that's on his necklace, and he hands it and says, "Give this to Starabash."
I take the ring.
That's the communication one.
Okay.
The way we can call him.
I got you. I understand what you're doing.
Kyo's not interested in the ring at all.
Yep.
It causes voices in his head.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm like looking at it, thinking I want to wear two of them. And then I disappear to the ship.
While the Kraken fight.
When you come back, there is no Kraken, and you are not where you were before. Brickleworm is barking orders, getting the ship out of out of the area, trying to get the crew to safety.
I go up on top of the ship and approach the wheel.
Okay.
And I start saying things like, set the heading to 3-4, and like try and remember how Kyo did it. And I take the wheel and I just turn it.
Oh God! And Lucky is running up the stairs as the ship starts to bank and leaps for the opposite side and pulls down on the wheel to try and right the ship. The ship straightens out, and he says, "Now, Captain, where are we heading?"
To dessert. We're gonna get some dessert.
Like ice cream?
Like the dragon. There's a desert. There's once this. Guys, what's the name of the desert? Dessert?
You don't hear anything.
I
either.
realize that Kinian's drunk and teleport back to the ship. I realize my mistake a
Because it's
little
been
bit
more
late.
than like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm back at the ship.
Yeah, so
Guys?
Kinian, from your perspective, Kinian pops away, and then it hits you like,
Sending has unlimited range.
shit, that was a bad idea.
Sending does have
Yeah.
We do hear it.
Not so much.
Are these ones limited?
Yeah, these are hybrids of
Lesser
things.
sending.
Yes, it's less. It's 340 character sending, so you know.
Oh, so the
Yeah, not the
range is-
260 or whatever.
It's they're 25 words. Sending, but
It's not sending, it's scenting.
Yeah.
There's a door.
It's the Asian version.
More of an amphitheater that rocks.
And Minette, you like run up to the top of the deck. When you come to, the ship is just starting to right back over. So things around you are falling off the walls again, and
Used to it.
yeah, and you've got your sea legs now, so you're able to you run up, and Lucky's bickering with them.
Yeah, so we're heading to Ascor.
Lucky says, "Where the hell is Oscor?"
Set heading 228.
Captain, that means nothing.
I know where Ascor is.
I heard it somewhere.
He said, "Do you have a map?" He says, "I've never heard of this city. Captain says it's in a desert. The only desert that I know of is the one with the black road on Iraq. Yeah, yep. So I mean, I can set this towards the west, but we're going to need a lot more detail.
We don't really have any plan for like using the ship in this assault, do we?
Should I port the ship?"
That might be a good idea. Why don't you just head towards Luskin again?
Aye.
What about Everland?
Everland doesn't have a place to set down.
We have business there, though, so
We
stop in Luskin, get any supplies you need, head towards Everland,
Okay.
and we can teleport back to the ship. So
we
where you are, it isn't really that important.
okay. We will do that. We will set in Luskan, get any supplies, and then from there a holding pattern around Everland.
Sounds good.
Aye. Good, Captain?
Aye.
I promise you will learn how to steer this ship. By the gods, I really hope you learn to steer this ship.
And I clap him right on the shoulder.
And he like slams into the wheel, and he loses the air from his lungs for a bit. He's
Thank you.
No, thank you, Captain.
I walk up to Starvash and I headbutt him.
he headbutts you back as your friendly greeting. He's like, "Gideon, I've got very important business," and you just headbutt him right in the forehead, and he just like a sack of potatoes right on the deck.
I'm like, there, and I like put the chain over his neck with the ring.
You put the necklace,
I put the necklace
with
on
the
him.
chain. Okay.
And then I walk over to Manette.
That's
Cast Lester Restoration on Starvash.
yeah, Starvash is going to have concussive syndrome.
Yes.
Oh.
This is worse than the NFL.
Cure wounds be good enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna cure wounds, Starvash, before we leave.
Okay.
He regained consciousness.
Yes, he's groggy,
Yeah.
but he's conscious.
It's not as groggy as Kinian.
Right. Yes. Oh, puns.
I explained the ring to him and
Okay.
tell him to put it on.
And he puts it on, and he hears a whomp when he puts it on.
Don't take it off.
Aye.
Good. Can you?
I thought it'd be more useful being able to communicate through the
Maybe.
ship than
We'll see.
to not.
Except for Kinian.
And you reappear back at Maelstrom. So turn in for the night.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Kim's already snuck off to his bedroom.
Okay.
And, meanwhile, he's practicing magics
Okay.
out of that spell book that he got off the wizard.
Okay. For how long? Just a while. Oh wait, you're doing it out of the spell book, not your book.
Not my book. For about 4 hours.
Okay.
He's going to be
Okay.
messing around, but he's doing the whole pretend to be asleep with flashlight thing.
Yeah. Yep, the Harry Potter. Luminous.
I walk into the giant's room where their water is, and I sober up before I go to bed by plunging my head into the cold water to clean away the blood.
Okay. Nice.
And then I climb up in a giant bed.
So you guys turn in for a long rest. You are all fully healed. And you have your spells and whatnot. At that moment, those of you who dinged last session feel as if you are stronger. You are more capable. It's early morning. Actually, you wouldn't know it's morning, but when you wake up, you do not feel as well rested as if you were to sleep in, right? Kyo, you're the first one to be awakened by a storm giant who looks as if he has seen many battles. And he says,
Come with me. We are setting up.
5 more minutes.
No, little one. Come.
And
Kyo there's a bunch of ink smudges on the sheets around them. And, he was obviously staying up playing with spells way too late, and he kind of just drags himself from, his like little mustache tendrils are like out of whack.
Yeah.
And, his eyes are droopy.
You got bed mustache?
Yeah. And
Nice.
The struggle was real.
the red cloak that he modified, one sleeve's up, one sleeve's down.
Very disheveled looking.
Yeah. And
Very
so
nice.
he kind of just shuffles after onto his broom, and then he's like laying on the broom following.
All right. The rest of you four are awakened by a different giant. Very similarly scarred, though. And you are all collected towards the teleportation sigil next to the pond. Where this grouping is, there is Hikatan and Queen Sarissa in battle attire. They have very large tridents, and
Nice.
they've got like these war helmets on. And Sarissa says, "So, are you ready? It's time to hunt."
Let's do it.
Yeah. She starts to wade into the water and dips down and starts swimming down into the water. You remember, Kenyon, that there is a grate at the end of that water.
And there's crabs.
And there's crabs. Yes. They're very shiny.
Shiniest.
Kyo says, wait. And he says 10 minutes. And he casts water breathing as a ritual.
Okay.
And 10 willing creatures that I can see within range can breathe underwater for 24 hours.
Nice. Very well done.
In terms of
It's going to be me.
doing things ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna cast
And-
Death Ward on Kenyon. It lasts for 8 hours.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Death Ward.
Okay.
And I don't know if I should cast that on you too, because you sometimes get up close in battle.
I'm dead.
I wouldn't worry about it. So,
I'm gonna cast it on you too. So you guys both have Death
It's
Ward
like
for
the
8
sticky
hours.
note, like the kick me, only it's like a really nice sticky note, like, don't kill me, bro.
Who's got the death board?
Kenyon and Bon.
and what does it do?
When you would drop to 0 hit points as the result of a damage, you instead drop to 1 hit point.
It's your orcish resilience.
Okay.
Nice.
Now,
Cool.
I
how
just
does that work
remembered
if
last
somebody, like,
time we
smacks
almost
you once
died.
you're down?
That
Yeah.
doesn't
So-
help.
Yeah, and
You can
considering
get killed.
you guys are about to face an
And then you
ancient
stabilize.
dragon,
Immediately.
buffing may be wise. So, Kenyon and Bon, you're death warded for how many hours?
8.
8? Okay. And Kyo, you gave everybody water breathing.
Mm-hmm. especially those giants.
Yeah, they might need it.
They
And
might
I'm-
be, well, after us, but 5 of them.
And I'm concentrating on so that I can speak with the whales.
Nice.
I'm excited. I've
Nice.
never talked to a whale before.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dory.
I didn't know you spoke whale.
I just rewatched that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
They take you down into this tunnel. There is no portcullis at the end of the tunnel anymore, and the big cyclone whirlpool is not running currently. They cross the whirlpool area and enter into another tunnel, which becomes a very large, like, whale stable.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many whales in here. Each giant mounts up its own whale, and these are killer whales.
They're orcas.
Yes,
These
orcas.
whales are killer.
Yeah.
They load up each one of you with a giant, and Hikatan rides alone,
I demand to ride with the princess.
and so you do. You ride.
That's why Kinian wants all the
Yes.
giant potions.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
I thought we
Get out
agreed
of
no
here.
dicking you in those.
He's a suitor.
He wants triple damage.
no.
He made the dick joke. Not me.
So let's bring it back in.
But I'm gonna go from swinging an axe to swinging a hammer.
All right. All
Just
right.
a
All
club.
right.
So that everyone's
All right,
doing
so
that?
how do these rocks function?
Yeah. So first you travel on whales for about 9 hours.
Okay, yeah, then I didn't cast Death Ward
Yeah.
until...
At the end of the 9 hours, you reach this set of islands, and there's this giant nest, and there's many large flying creatures. Very, very large. Larger than a giant.
What about boulders? How many of those are there?
No boulders. Definitely no boulders.
Keo
And,
scratches his head and asks where the rocks are.
and Sarissa says, well, Keo, they are right here. And she starts to, like, pet this one rock that, like, nuzzles into the petting. And she
And
says,
she's like, no, silly giant. Those are birds.
these are birds. They're called rocks.
ROCS. Yep.
Yep.
I'm really sad that I did not actually understand
Yeah.
that
I knew
until
that.
just now.
That went
I knew
above
that.
my head, too.
Yep.
Yep.
Because once the talk of
Really,
rocks.
really on top of my game here today.
I figured out when he said fly. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
oh, the bird.
I'm like climbing the rock's neck to try to like have her like pet me, like while I'm hanging off the
Like a
neck.
cat.
Never had a girlfriend.
Not this big.
They call those tower chasers. So basically, travel goes very uneventful for about 7 days.
7. Oh, really good thing you didn't.
Well, you know, then I just would have been able to recast it at this point.
So-
'cause it's like a 7-day long
How fast
rest.
do the rocks fly?
How fast do the rocks fly? They fly fast enough. What do you want to know?
I just want
Is it an African rock? Or an
No,
European rock?
Because if they're not any faster than 60 feet around, I'm just going to fly on my own.
I'm using this opportunity to regale the princess on how smart she is for listening to me.
120 feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they whoop your ass.
And she's
Can't
the
have
smartest
I'm a little
giant I've
sullen.
met because all the other ones fought me and died.
Oh, damn. All right.
I'm not the smartest one.
Yeah, no, she's weirded out by this conversation.
I even took a fire giant head
What's your
back
charisma?
to back to a city.
-1.
I'm totally thinking like I'm
This is
talking
on
myself
par.
up.
Yeah, this is right on par. She kind of gives you like, oh, Okay.
Cool story, bro.
That's very nice, Kenyon.
So we need to
And-
rotate partners.
Vasasha comes up and he's like,
You did what?
I killed a fire giant, and I killed another one. A couple. I scared some recently.
he points to like this large scar across his chest and he says,
This is from my last fire giant fight. It was amazing!
I want to switch birds.
Do you just jump for it?
Oh, yeah.
Jump for it.
this is during one of the landing periods. They have to land after every 8 hours to let the rocks recuperate and such.
And I'm like armor off. And like showing all my scars.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. He says,
It's kind of hard to see all your scars with such dark skin, Orc.
So, upon hearing that, Keo makes the light from the campfire become twice as bright.
Oh goodness. That's really bright fire. Yeah.
That's my new cantrip.
nice. Okay.
This scar right here is when a female hit me with a sword into the ground and I died.
Holy shit. You died?
Well, I fell. I don't know. I was back up.
I don't remember.
I was back up again. We killed her. She was digging with a sword. It's weird.
He starts to regale you with like all his war stories. He's fought giant squids and things like that. He talks about grappling these giant squids and like tying them into knots and then feeding them to his children and cooking them over these fires and creating all sorts of different things. Yes.
The only giant squid we ever fought disappeared. and then we met you.
Oh, I saw that. And it hurt.
On your 7th day, you enter a zone. And by zone, I mean you enter this like area where it's like bright blue skies, and then all of a sudden it is storms. There's no rain. It is a dry lightning storm. There is lightning cracking across the sky and thunder booming here and there, and it seems to get worse and worse towards this epicenter.
So I have an Arcana 21. Does this seem magical to me?
This is definitely a magical effect that you believe has come from a dragon layering nearby.
This reminds me of some tales I heard from my mother's side of the family.
When we get here, I start meditating, trying to reach out to my angelic guide.
Yeah.
I want to ask my angelic guide to imbue me with temporary permanence for my angelic powers until the end of the fight. Saying things like, this is for the greater good of the entire world. I totally need this. 1 minute's not enough.
That's what she said.
Just give me a Viagra.
So you meditate. As you do, you've reached a very deep state of meditation. One that you haven't reached often. One where your mind is clear and you are like in the moment. And when you hit that state, you start to get flashes of the book that you have and of you studying in Candlekeep and pages turning in the book. You do not feel as if you've been imbued with anything.
I take out the book and
start reading through it. Okay. How long do you want to do that for?
Until something else calls my attention.
Okay. So basically, the giants are preparing. So they are going to take the next 12 hours to prepare, rest up completely, and basically hunker down their rocks so that when you guys leave, you have an escape route.
Oh, I let slip, that this is going to be pretty cool. That we're gonna get the drop on this dragon, just like the dragons got on the giants way back when.
I'm going to attempt to spar with my new scary friend in front of the princess.
Okay. Let's do a contested strength, athletics, or whatever you're good at.
29.
27. So it's a pretty close grapple. You guys are like locked. And it's funny because he's like locked with his one finger around the back of your head, and you've got like your hand around his ankle, and you guys are like locked in this weird Greco-Roman small versus big wrestling match. And you tumble around for a little bit, and you eventually use your smallness to your advantage, and you're able to restrain him through how do you restrain him?
I get up behind him and actually grab him by the beard and pull it up like a bridle.
Okay.
So I'm behind his head.
Yep.
Like
so
riding.
You are actually standing on his spine, pulling the beard up over top of his nose and pulling it back. And as you're pulling it back with so much strength that it's pushing directly on the spine, and you can start to feel the neck give, and he yells through his gritted teeth, "A trap!" And he's hitting the sand next to him, and you release, and he stands and he says,
"That was amazing! That was better than the fire giant!"
Queen Sarissa looks amused.
I strut off like a peacock.
Okay. So proud of yourself. Anybody want to do anything during this period? Basically, they've got a time in mind that they are going to start the assault. The assault will take a couple hours travel to get to the amphitheater. They explain that it is a 6-mile journey. They say that this area of effect usually goes for 6 miles in any direction of the epicenter. So it will take a while to get there, even with you small folk riding on the shoulders of the giants. So what do you want to do in this preparation period? Do you want to formulate a plan or try to scout the place out? What do you want to do? Obviously, scouting will have to happen later on after your hours of travel.
The only thing that I'm going to do is towards the last hour of the break, I'm going to infuse the cannon with magical power.
Nice. You draw the rune in the air over top of it, magically imbuing it using one of your spell slots. Your highest spell slot, I assume?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm looking to cast Great Axe on Emrith.
Okay. You prepare.
I prepared
for
cast.
It's a few hour ritual. Yes. Yep. Are you doing any like kata stances and stuff like that while you're preparing? Like how are you preparing? Centering yourself?
I've gone off away from the group a little bit to speak to my axe at this point. So I'm basically just cross-legged on the ground speaking to my axe.
Okay.
I snuck away the alchemy jug while I wasn't looking.
Okay.
And I pulled out my pot from my bag of holding.
Okay.
And I used the alchemy jug to fill up the pot with water.
Yep.
Which then I prestidigitize repeatedly, cubic foot by cubic foot, to, or I'll make a fire under it, heat it up.
Yep.
And then I get out some of my soap and I take a nice hot bath.
Nice. Very nice.
Get the road grime off so I look back.
Very nice.
Look my best.
Yeah. That feels very refreshing for you.
I don't know why I used the pot instead of the copper top, but I did.
Yes, whatever. It's Kyo's choice.
And I come back for a drink and only water comes out.
Yeah. Yep. Sadness hits you. Fun meditation and reading?
Yep.
Okay. So through your reading, you have learned to expand your angelic form. You think that there is room for improvement, that you can extend this quite the length. What is your normal amount?
1 minute.
Okay, so you're able to extend it for 1 hour. You guys spend time traveling, about 3 hours. As you travel, the dry storm gets worse and worse. You start to see on the horizon a half moon shape rise out of the sand, and it grows taller and taller. It's over 70 feet tall at the highest point. On its outside edges, it has arches that seem more for decoration than anything. You can't see them walking through it. At the top level, you see hollow arches, ones that you could walk through, and they are crumbled and broken. The outside northern edge of the amphitheater is clearly crumbling and falling to the desert sands. It's been rubbed smooth from the sand and the wind. And you see two stumps rise up next to one of these broken arches, and it looks as if they are feet cut off at the kneecap. You are still quite a distance away, and you have reached it at about midday. As you start to see these details, you can see very small silhouettes around the top edge, here and there between the arches. Everybody give me a perception check, please.
Bad.
23.
Kyo actually has a good perception.
Okay.
19.
Nice.
That's a straight roll.
A
Holy
passive
shit.
of
Yeah.
18.
I have a passive of 17.
Okay.
So I assume it's dark for sunlight sensitivity because of the storm.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
No, it's good.
Oh, you're...
Well, with the storm,
That's good.
Oh, yeah, it's dark. Yeah,
it's
sorry.
not direct sunlight.
It's midday, but this storm has blocked it out.
Yeah.
Well, if it's cloudy,
It's
that
dark.
would still count as not direct sunlight.
Yeah. These are the angriest skies you've seen they just aren't raining. And they start to swirl right above this amphitheater.
That's not ominous at all.
Directly above the amphitheater. What was the highest perception?
I think I heard
I think
19.
23.
Or 23. What you see no particular movement, but you do notice tracks that are leading off to your left, and they are interesting tracks. There's a set of footsteps, and with your check, you're able to count 6 different sets of footsteps, and then there's these lines in the sand that seem to like almost slither. They look a lot like how the dunes are with the wind blowing across them, only they're going against the grain, if that makes sense. And they are in step with these footsteps.
Is it
They
almost
move-
like it could be like a tail or something?
Insight. Or nature.
19.
19. Yeah, you think this might be some sort of tail, maybe a snake or something like that.
Okay.
A very, very large snake. This track is bigger than. I mean, this track would be like a serving platter size wide.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's very wide.
I've seen.
Oh, please. You see these tracks move off to your left as you're approaching the amphitheater, and they move off towards a set of dunes. You also see, with Kinion's keen perception, very faintly, some smoke rising off to the left behind a hill. This is far off from the amphitheater, a couple hundred feet away from the amphitheater. Former King Hikatan says,
No, we were causing a distraction for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that was what we had spoke about.
So, what is your plan then?
I'm gonna kill her.
Well, okay. I'm talking plan of entry. How are we going to do this? Us giants can sprawl out and attack from every frontal angle, or we can do a pincer maneuver. How do you want to come at this problem?
Do I see multiple entry points?
what you see is, from your perspective, from your position, you just see this horseshoe looking amphitheater. You see like some rubble and cracks off to the left in the amphitheater. It might have broken down a little bit over there.
There's
And
the smoke, right?
the smoke's even further than that. It's behind a giant mound far away from the Hikatan says,
Is that what you want to do? Do you want to investigate that smoke? We can attack from the right. We'll attack from the right and try to cause a distraction for any sentries that she might have waiting.
Have we noticed any sort of guards out here?
no. It is very suspiciously quiet. In fact, ominous. It is very ominous. You pop your potion. Glug, 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 glug. And you grow to giant size.
Gross.
I
I smelled that potion. It doesn't smell good.
I walk over to the princess
Yep.
and I say, "Wish me luck." Wink. Wink.
Are you trying to charisma?
Oh yeah.
Okay, give me a charisma at disadvantage.
Oh
That
yeah.
is very.
Yes.
That
He's
is
a
a very
giant now.
subdued move, though. I'm actually impressed at Kenyan.
Oh,
What do you
it
get?
would have been a critical.
Oh, 3?
No.
He rolled a 4.
she like slowly raises her hand and sheepishly is like bye. It becomes an awkward moment. It was not the moment that Kenyan had in his mind, and you're kind of like it kind of trips you up a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I impressed her with
Yeah.
my wrestling.
Yeah, it must have been the potion. It's clearly the potion has thrown everything off.
She's a tiny chaser.
Yeah.
She likes her men petite.
Yes. So, to lay the scene out a little more, there are homes, smaller buildings that are decrepit, and there's ruins of those over to the right. Hikatan lays out a plan to attack from that side. And how do you guys want to go about this? How do you want to investigate that smoke?
I would like to begin running at it.
Just running at it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you're running, and you're going full tilt, right? So that's what 40 or no 80.
80 if I'm dashing.
Yeah, 80. You look, and Kenyan is running full tilt, and he's about 160 feet away from you.
I'm going to try and follow on my broom,
Okay.
but it's
Yeah, you
using
slowly
ground for
follow.
cover.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to be losing distance each round.
Yep.
And
That
I
was a really come on, guys, come on.
I just wasted my 20 of the campaign.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
stealth behind at a 27.
Okay. All right.
And I just run full tilt after him.
Okay.
I start glowing lightly.
Okay. Yeah, just warming it up.
Got this. Getting some heat in the engine.
Yeah.
I cast Mend.
Yeah.
I guess for now, I will follow behind everyone else.
Okay. So, Kinian, you are now 220 feet away from your original position, and at which point you see a very large rock fling up from the amphitheater. Hey everybody, it's Alan, your DM, and I wanted to say thank you from the cast and crew for listening to Roll with Advantage. We really appreciate it. If you feel like you want to support the podcast or even want to get on the podcast in all sorts of different ways, go ahead and check us out at Patreon, patreon.com/Roll with Advantage. We've got all sorts of different support structures that have got fun little things for each of the levels. If you can't support monetarily, comments and subscriptions go a very long ways. So if you could comment in iTunes or on YouTube, that would help out the podcast so much. We also love to interact with our fans. If you use the hashtag Roll with Advantage on Twitter, or you can post in our subreddit, we will be happy to engage with you guys. It's a super fun way to get to know some of us, and you get to ask questions about your favorite characters, or about the world, what's going on in the background, stuff like that. We also want to say a big thank you for Incompetech.com and BattleBards for letting us use their music and sound effects. They do a fantastic job, and I highly suggest you guys go check them out. Just beautiful work from everybody there. For a full list of the pieces we use, go ahead and check out the description, and you'll find it there. So, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye!